G'day and welcome to some analysis of the Wallabies versus England and Perth last weekend. Let's start off by looking at the breakdown. We discussed it a bit last week, and let's see if the Wallabies' tactics changed at all. As you can see from this graph, the answer is yes. Wallabies committed more men both in attack and defence, but obviously these numbers are averages, and that doesn't really talk about how they did it. So I've got a few clips coming up which are going to kind of demonstrate that. And what I want you to have a look at first in this first clip is just listen to Luke Burgess here as he shouts, "Flood it."
Wallabies have won it, have they?
The Wallabies have obviously decided to use this call from the halfback to focus their attention at the breakdown, which allows them to both compete, but then also use the fan strategy that we looked at last week. Here's another example coming up now.
Back 5! That's fine, that's through the middle.
It doesn't always result in a turnover at the ruck, but with the new ruck interpretations, it's a lot harder now to slow down the ruck, and actually counter-rucking is probably the best way to do that. It can also generate penalties, as we'll see in this situation, because it's a legitimate way for getting bodies over the ball and make it harder for the opposition to come through the gate. All in all, I think it's a great addition for the Wallabies, and it worked really well against England on the weekend, and I really hope that we see more of this against the Tri-Nations. I now wanted to focus a little bit on one player in the forward pack, and that's David Pocock, who we just saw snaffle a ball here, and then in this clip we see pick up his one and only pilfer of the night. But that shouldn't diminish his performance. He was absolutely outstanding, and if you look at his stats here, you'll see that they're almost off the chart. He basically beats every other forward in the pack for everything apart from carries, which again Sharpie did a great job on. So I could put some clips together, but it would go for a good 20 minutes because he was literally involved in everything. Last week we said there were two things the Poms needed to do to challenge the Wallabies' ruck defence. That was to be more direct through the middle and to use pace. They used a little bit of the former and they used absolutely none of the latter. It was very, very slow and static from the Poms, and really they used just one man out from the ruck, and it was telegraphed who that one man was going to be. The thing I didn't mention last week though was that this defensive strategy of the Wallabies really relies on excellent sort of one-on-one tackling and line speed, and that's what the Wallabies, and especially in the forward pack, showed last week. I think we also the 5-10 minute periods where they were defending on their lines at both sides, and it was excellent the way they charged out of the line, took the man back, and really took them behind the gain line each time, mixing that with a little bit of counter-rucking at the same time to keep keep England under the pressure and keep their ball under the pressure the whole time. It was excellent. I can only think that the England management would have thought about this week, and maybe we'll see a change. Next, let's have a look at a couple of individuals, starting with Luke Burgess. I thought Luke had a fantastic game on the weekend. One of the things that he really offers when he plays well is yet another attacking threat, and he really hurt the Poms around the ruck. He made 3 out of Australia's total 7 line breaks in the whole game, and the pace at which he was clearing the ball was excellent, as demonstrated in this try-making effort between him and Quade Cooper. Look at the pace in which he picks up and decides to go, finds Quade with a beautiful pass, and there's a try under the posts. A bit of a better view here. A surprise to see who's involved. David Pocock touches the ball twice here in this setup. Beautiful lay back. Luke is up, gone. And then actually I love this gorgeous line that Quade runs, which really just confuses about 3 or 4 English defenders. A little bit here on Luke's defence. We all know he's excellent at it. This is Simon Shaw, who's probably one of the bigger men in world rugby. And you see between Quade and Luke forming a great combination there and driving the man back with a little shove there from Shmoo. And then just to round it all off, another break from Luke off the back of the line out. The other person that I've picked out here is James OConnor. It's easy to have James pigeonholed as that teenager who's making cameo appearances, but as time goes on, I think he's offering more and more as a player and as an attacking threat for the Wallabies. Here we've got a few examples of where he's asking questions and doing some pretty smart things. In this situation here, he's linking in the back three, creating opportunities in space, of which really there should have been a try in this situation. And here, well, I just still can't understand how he gets out of this tackle. I think there's 3 guys on him there, yet he still gets away, beats another 2 tackles, and then offloads. But what you might not have picked up on the weekend was that I think actually he probably won this game for the Wallabies twice over. First with this try-saver on Mike Tindall after he'd rampaged through another 3 Wallabies, and then finally on the new, is it Ashton, the winger, where he brings both guys down within 1 metre of the line. So while you can kind of have him pigeonholed as the teenager who is still learning the ropes, I think in this game, for example, he really showed how he's becoming integral to the team's plans. Queenslanders by now will be disappointed that I haven't spent some time talking about Quade Cooper. So let's have a look at this vital try that he was instrumental in setting up, which took the Wallabies from 14-10 to 21-10. Now, at the time, everyone talked about how gorgeous the pass was that set this all up and that it was just a piece of individual brilliance in backing up. I agree with both of those things, but there's something we should have a look at actually, which is about the way that the Wallabies set this all up and asked some fantastic questions of the defence. Here's the move again, and we've stopped it here so you can see that it's a scrum centre field with a classic 4-2 split. But have a look at how Berrick Barnes and Rob Horne are lined up. They've got a 4-on-3 overlap versus the English, and obviously Ben Foden, the fullback, is at sweeper behind. But to make sure that they can take advantage of this and they don't just get brought into touch with the sweeper, they're asking questions. So if you think about if you're either Mark Cueto or Beyonce Hape and you need to mark up, you can't leave both Berrick and Horne to drift to the sideline. You've got to commit. And that's exactly what happens here. And we see that Quade runs straight. He commits flood, and you see Hape is planted. He has to cover Berrick to come inside. Cueto can't drift to the outside. He has to stay with Rob Horne, and that's what gives Digby the space to catch this, what I think is at least a 1 metre forward pass, and make his way down the touchline, where he makes short work of Foden and then pops to Quade for the try, but all because of the questions that were asked earlier on.